Good morning. It's Thursday, September 11th. We've got an interesting weather pattern that continues, which is below average temperatures. Great help to firefighting, great help to air quality. Maybe not so great if you were looking for sort of a longer, elongated summer, because this is a very fall-like weather pattern. With the rain we had yesterday, I had reports up in the San Jose area of over a quarter inch, almost a half inch of rain. We had thunderstorms up around Clear Lake and Lake County, up in the Butte County area, up in Paradise, and outside of Chico, some severe or strong thunderstorms. Snow on Mount Shasta. That's what we're looking at here. This is right now. They might get a little more snow today. There's showers just up to the north of them. Let's take a look at the last 24 hours. So this is, yesterday was kind of a potpourri of stuff. So you'll see yesterday, clouds come in, and there's the rain. And it's snowing on Shasta right now. This is yesterday, if you remember it. And then we go through tonight. Clouds still kind of there, so a lot of moisture, even though it's mild, cool conditions. And then this morning, you'll see the clouds, and then you'll see the fresh blanket of snow. And what's awesome is, check out that line, right? Isn't that interesting? I mean, no, it's obvious, right? The snow level was this kind of finite point where the temperature reaches, 38 degrees, you can get snow. But to get it to stick, you got to usually be around 32. But you can see that line. It just added a frame, but you get the picture. That's the snow line. But they got a lot of snow. I mean, a couple inches of snow up on Mount Shasta. Rain up on those northern fires. Noticeable containment on those Northern California fires, like the Dillon fire. So we'll get to that. This is the live visible satellite. You see a little bit of everything, and it does look like fall. It's going to continue that way right through the weekend. The weekend's going to be a little warmer, a little less cloudy, but still, it's going to feel like fall. Not quite fall, but it's going to feel like fall. Hope you're having a good day. Got some surf to talk about that shows up this week or later on this weekend into next week. And then air quality is getting better because of this flow. And how does it relate to your Bay Area weekend? Maybe you got a wedding. Maybe you got, I was going to say graduation, but that's a little, it's going back to school. But there's stuff's going on right now. And the weather, I think it's overall going to cooperate this weekend. But today there's a chance for more scattered showers in parts of the state. You can see, this looks like more like fog to me right here. And then you can kind of see some of the smoke wafting over out into the Reno area. You also see let me see if I can grab my pointy thingy. I think I mentioned this the other day. Nobody commented on it, but I wish you would. That I think I was the first weather guy to use a telestrator. Because John Madden, I mean, I'm old enough. I go back to Whitney. I figured out a way to use the old Aurora graphics machine to do this. And when I was doing weather. And so, especially in the lead segments. So I kind of go, yeah, I think I pioneered that. I know. If you think it was you, let me know. But I think it was me. I really do. I mean, I invented this. Now, Madden kind of came up with a plan, but I took an Aurora paint box and figured out how to telestrate. That's why I just do so much pointing now. Plus, I think it's a super effective tool. The deeper marine layer, clear out at the Farallons right now. You'll see that. Some fog and low clouds into the Salinas Valley. Santa Barbara, beautiful day. Los Angeles, beautiful day. But they're getting a little bit of a southerly flow too. So they are being south of Point Conception, are getting a milder weather pattern as well. Let's look at the fires. This is an area where they got in the last couple of days, over an inch of rain. And look at the containment on the Big Cliff, the Lick Fire, the Peak Fire. They're big fires. They've been burning for a while, but you're seeing containment. Let's take a look at the Dillon Fire. That thing's got 78% containment, big jump. Blue Fire's got 54%. Log Fire doesn't have any. That's interesting. But everybody around, Big Cliff Fire. So I'm relating this back to the rainfall of the last couple of days and the very helpful weather environment. And not only does it put a squish on a bunch of these fires, it not only does it put a squish on a bunch of these fires, but it helps to get us down the road in fire season a little longer with higher fuel moistures, higher humidities, which is awesome. And it's been humid in the Bay Area. We talked about it. Picked up on some knowledge the other day. I was looking at some of the sea surface temperatures offshore. The San Francisco Bay is like, some parts of the bay are 65 degrees. It's warm. Some parts off Ocean Beach in San Francisco, the sea surface temperatures are in the low 60s, 62, 63, 64. That helps commute more moisture into the atmosphere. That's why it's kind of muggy down in San Diego. Water temperature is about 67, 68 degrees. Well, all of a sudden, Bay Area water temperature is that way. We also have moisture coming in from the subtropics, but you increase that. So that's where the extra oomph of humidity is coming from. And that's going to change around with the swell direction, or the swell direction and the swell, because I'm going to show you coming up a northwesterly, westerly swell. That will create a certain amount of cooling along the coast. Because right now it's that surface layer that's so warm. This, I got to check back on this. This is, okay, yeah, this is a cool shot. This is from, where are we? Wichipec? I don't even know. Hoopa. Oh, this is up by, kind of Happy Camp area, looking back down. What river is that? Yeah, it's Hoopa. I shouldn't do this to you, but I'm doing it. It's a beautiful little valley. You can see let's see if we can put a loop on this bad boy. This is this morning. And these are, this came up because of the northern fires. A little bit of rain will show up, I think. And you see the fog, a little stability. Isn't that beautiful? That's out by Hoopa. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. God, look where you live, man. Look where you live. It's stunning. And then we go back down to the Garnett Fire, which these fires did not get advantage from the showers. I didn't see any showers show up there. The Garnet is 15% contained. Let's see what else we got. They're doing a nice job on it. This is the fire that some of my fire experts are telling me they're not going to get it until the big rains start. That was just sort of a helpful rain. But the big rains, you know what I'm talking about. Big full-on frontal passage, soaking an inch of rain in this area, putting out, at least stamping out the spot fire areas. This is the smoke from this morning. This is right now. And you can kind of see, well, there's certainly smoke. And you can kind of see some of the cumulus clouds. I can't loop this one because they're moving that camera around. If you play with that Alert California, sometimes that camera in the show box, this camera, let's go back, this camera here, that camera, like you'll see what I'm talking about, you put a loop on it and they move it, right? And that's and that's annoying. That's annoying. Here's the smoke model. This is right now. There's a little smoke seeping in from Northern California, but this is all high level stuff generally, so I'm not sweating it for you. And then up in Oregon, there's fires, but there's also rainfall. Let's take a look at some of the rain right now. This is out around Klamath Falls, so they're getting some rain. That's the end of that low. Let's track it. Let's put a little bit of a. Can I find a place to loop this bad boy? Got too much going on. Okay, well, let's just not do it. But anyway, you can see up by Valley Falls, Chiloquin, and Klamath Falls, there's still scattered showers, which is awesome. That's where the smoke would be coming from. This is purple air, but we don't need it today, so we're not going to do it today. This is Heavenly Valley up at Lake Tahoe. Lake is glassy and smooth. And a cool cumulus cloud out here. This one, I looked for rain under this thing. I didn't see anything, but you can kind of see some vertical development a little bit, which indicates that, and you'll see this in the HRRR. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some scattered showers out there this afternoon. This is this morning, a little bit of smoke still from Garnett Fire, essentially, seeping over the hill with that southwest wind, bubbling. Yeah, so it's trying to produce. Wow, that's a great shot. That's Heavenly Valley. And you can see South Lake Tahoe not South Lake Tahoe. You can see the casinos and whatever. And I got to give credit to South Lake Tahoe because we used to bust on it all the time. Only because it was like gambly and weird. And then over the last 30 years, they've kind of fixed it up, right? I mean, you know, because there's North Lake Tahoe and South Lake Tahoe. South Lake Tahoe's got all the stuff, but I think they made the mistake of throwing casinos in there. And then they played, you can gamble here before the lottery. When the lottery came in, you can gamble anywhere. So South Lake Tahoe goes, we got to punt. And so they punt. And I think it was what's that hotel? Oh gosh, I used to like them. Anyway, they put a hotel and they put that tram down to the hotel so you could stay in the hotel and you could get on a tram and go ski at Heavenly Valley, which is an awesome ski resort. Mount Tamalpais, marine layer, not really existent today. I mean, it is obviously existent today, but not really pronounced on the profiler because you have the higher clouds above, right? Indicating cool air above as well. So you kind of have a mixture of low clouds and fog, mid-level clouds, and an inversion that wants to form, but it's having a heck of a time. And quite frankly, the sea surface temperatures don't help that either. Don't help it form. So you'll see kind of what warm air under cool air. That's just the inversion. That's down in Monterey, but that's just the inversion kind of getting blown up. Rest of the week, this is out of the Reno Weather Service. They're just saying cool fall-like temperatures to continue. Scattered thunderstorms, showers and thunderstorms today and Thursday. So that's what we saw on the Heavenly Valley cam, right? So that's what they're talking about. And Reno's another place. Reno used to, I'm so old I remember all this. This is the forecast I today, but Reno used to be where you go to get a divorce. Before divorces were legal in California, and I don't know if divorces were many states, I don't know if it was the only state that divorces were legal in, but you'd had to go reside in a state for a while before you could get that divorce. So Reno had like dude ranches and stuff. It was so you could go up there and live for a month. Or I don't even know I can't remember what the numbers were. So you could then apply for a divorce, a legal divorce. This is just coming out the top of my head. But so Reno was sort of not founded, but was sort of built on that, besides gambling and prostitution. I mean, it was legal, right? And so Reno kind of had a vibe too. But Reno, again, with organized gambling or a thing, the gambling thing goes away, which is awesome. Because the gambling component, the casinos, I don't know, I always had fun. But it's kind of like, I don't know. So it's kind of depressing, right? But they've changed that around. So look at me. When you're old enough, you see it all, right? So I've kind of seen Reno go from, I remember when Cal Neva, right? Remember Cal Neva, Cal Nevada, right on the border. That was Sinatra's place, which was kind of highly suspect for the, kind of mob relations. I remember when that thing was, I don't know if it's still going, but I remember when it was still going. We went up there in the mid-'70s, kind of snuck up there as little kids, stole mom's car, went up there. That's a whole nother story for you. But anyway, but Cal Neva, that whole area, of course, that's the spot to be now, right? Or one of the spots. This is the forecast for today. Ooh, I didn't want that to happen, but that's kind of cool that it did happen. Let's go highs. There we go. So very pleasant, very, very pleasant right there. Very pleasant. These are the highs for tomorrow. Warmer. But perfect fall-like weather. This is for Friday, and you see the yellows. That represents temperatures, in this case, the 70s and 80s. But still, fire danger is always high, but it's much better than it could have been. This is the HRRR. This is the next 24 hours. You can see the rotation. You see that stuff up around Mount Shasta that we were just watching. A little more snow on the mountain. That thing creeps down towards Bernie and Redding. And then I think, where's that? I guess the Lake Tahoe stuff. See, that's there down towards South Lake, down towards Monitor Path. Not Monitor, but Carson. Okay. So then still unstable. And then again, this is this afternoon. So it's kind of, it's poppy-uppy. Wow, that's interesting. That is just spine of the Sierra Nevada, east side, Bishop. And that's today. And this model, I suspect this model is going to do pretty good. And you can see why these are popping up. See the rotation? Everything's rotating counterclockwise. So there's just instability in the area. And anytime it bumps into some moisture and some afternoon sun, this afternoon, at about 4 or 5 o'clock, you see that. And that's even that could even creep over the hill to Bear Valley. So we'll see. So that's the HRRR. This is the North America model. It'll mimic, but go a little further. There's all that. And it's hard. I wouldn't use these to pinpoint, but I would use them to broad brush and go, somewhere around this afternoon from Lake Tahoe south, maybe a little something. And then it kind of keeps the flow going, sort of not unsettled, but cooler. And this is the low. This is the jet stream. Let me get some coffee going. This is that low pressure center. This is a jet stream, 500 millibar vorticity. And it kind of, that's all what this is a loft. We were looking at the surface. But the flow continues. That flow is counterclockwise at the surface, counterclockwise aloft. And then somewhere around Saturday morning, at least Western California kind of gets a little bit of a ridge. There's your Saturday. Nice day. And then Sunday, nice, but kind of, not crazy warm, little trough to the north, maybe something for Mount Shasta. Then a little ridge comes in, and that's kind of Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So, right, it's muddy. It's muddy. It is. And then that's a big ridge. See that? Going up there. But then it gets undercut. So if that big ridge doesn't happen, it's very, very warm. But not that big ridge. If that little low doesn't creep into that, that's around the 24th, 25th. So when it goes that far out, I start brushing by it. Parent low, creating awesomeness in Swell. Baby low here, creating the thunderstorms that are forecast for this afternoon. Monsoonal moisture is going Amscray. And then, God, that's beautiful. It's fun. Right. So every time you start thinking you're cool, just think about the planet Earth, man. It's been doing this. This is what it does. How's that working? I think it's like this. That's just a little ridge, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a convoluted jet stream because you got one low here, another low here, another low here, all pretty dominant. So it's the thing I would take away here, what you're seeing is fall. You're seeing the jet stream now further south, more activity across the nation's midsection, not coming from the tropics, but coming from extratropical or away from the tropics moisture. Okay, so right now, flood watches, flood advisories, that's cool, right? I've got no problem with flood. Normally you'd be, I hope everybody's okay. And you do, I think, but I'm not anticipating, you're just anticipating going to get a lot of rain, going to get some roads, some dirt roads that kind of run water down it, but you're basically really helping squish fires. Same thing in Colorado. Okay, that's that. Getting ready for the weekend. Starting on September 16th, which is what we saw in the GFS, we're going to go above average temperatures through the 20th. That makes, on the 6th, let's say the 16th, 17th. Let's go 17th. Okay, let's dig that up again. See if we can do it. Where are we? Yeah, man. There we are. Okay, that's the 17th, right? So let's go see how that looks in on the model. 17th. Yeah, there's the ridge. So again, all I did was just backtrack and going, okay, what's that, right? There's that little pop-up ridge. It's short, but it's popped up. And that's where temperatures warm up. And then they're expecting it to stay warm for the next few days. Yeah. I think what they're really looking at is this. And that's on the 22nd. So, 22nd. Yeah, okay. Something like that. And then near normal rainfall. And again, all I did was I just wanted to go back and track. Okay, what are they thinking? Here is wave height. This model is from Surfline. This just shows that westerly swell coming. It also shows why I think water temperature is going to warm up a little bit because this isn't southerly swell has a tendency to bring in warmer waters because it's coming from the south. So it actually pushes the sea surface temperatures up. When the swell starts coming from the north and northwest, sea surface temperatures drop a few degrees. And this is all the way through this weekend, but there's some little bit of west swell. And then you see that explosive deal right there. That's awesome. That's on the Monday, this coming Monday, Tuesday. But again, you see, the thing I guess I want you to get out of this is you see the progression of storms now. This is surf, but they correlate directly to storms. Let me see if I can, I shouldn't do this either. Wave period, wave height, wave energy. I want to see, I want to do, sorry for this, but I kind of want to look at settings. I don't want that. Sometimes I get so much going on the screen. I wanted to look at sea surface temperatures, but we'll have to do that another day. This is San Francisco's Ocean Beach. It's kind of surfable. The reason it's surfable is because the winds, there's light wind right now. You can kind of see the texture, but not white caps, so the waves don't crumble. But this time of year, the pressure gradient is such, like the thermal gradient, the hot inland, cold coast, it sets up a sea breeze, ain't happening. And so the winds become less, and pretty soon they reverse and the winds will go offshore. And that's the best surf conditions, but that's why fall in San Francisco is I think, as good a surf as you get, right through December, end of December. Does that make sense? Thermal gradient, land sea breeze. Okay. So that's San Francisco's Ocean Beach. This is Pleasure Point. They got a little swell today, 3 to 4 feet. Sun came out. That's nice. That's what happens when your inversion is kind of non-existent. I know all these guys out here. Not all of them, but you'd be surprised how many I know. And it's funny, in the old days, that's called first peak. But we would, there wasn't a lot of talking. And I was a San Francisco guy. So I'd go down there, and I'd go alone, because if you go with other people, then you're asking for trouble. It's not like that anymore, but I'd go down here, and over the last 45 years, I got to know most of these guys. And there's still a bunch there's guys older than me that still surf out there, which is awesome. And they surf better than me, too. This is Mount Shasta right now. Kind of cool shot. And there's that snow on the top. Let's do the last 30 minutes. And you'll see that snow line, then you see the clouds come in. And there's rain up here. That's Black Butte, that little pointy thing, the cinder cone. But you're also seeing some of the cloud cover from the rain showers that are occurring up around Klamath Falls, which is just to the north and east. I always enjoy getting to Mount Shasta. I love this shot. And it's fun to see snow on there, right? That can't be bad. Okay, so then we go, let's do the full 24, won't you? No, that's all right. Let's do the full 24 on this guy. This is Whitney. If you're here, you're awesome. If you're not here, you're awesome too. I think we're getting weather out of the way earlier. So this is weather, but it's not need-to-know stuff. It's just super cool stuff. Overnight, very alien-ish, full moon almost. And then tomorrow, or this morning. And then see how quickly the clouds build up, sun comes up, hits that east slope, heat rises, because the sun, the mountains, in the morning, I better get going, I'm running out of time, but the east side of these are the southern Sierra Nevadas, sun comes up, it hits perpendicular as it's coming up, right? So it's not at a diffuse angle like it is, so it hits this granite full on, as perpendicular as you can get, essentially, and that allows for heating. And so the first heat of the day, it's not happening on the flat, I'm pointing at that, it's not happening on the flat ground. The sun's, it's diffuse, but going straight, boom, perpendicular. So you pull a lot of heat on that east slope. So the air starts to rise off of that, and it starts to pull cooler air into it. That's the thermodynamics. And as it does, it creates a lift, and that's what you got. And there's the mountains obviously create a lift as well. Jellyfish, we're at 23 minutes. I'm running out of time, but because my thing only lasts till 30. But I think we covered it. Temperatures are running below the average by a few degrees. San Francisco should be about 65, and it's actually above average, about 68 today. San Jose should be 84. It's going to be in the mid-70s. Sacramento should be 90 this time of year, this time of day. Not this time of day, but you know what I mean. They're 78. Redding 79. That's where they're going to be, but they should be in the low 90s. San Francisco, Santa Barbara should be 75, and they're going to be 70. So everybody's kind of impacted by this. Now back to the sea surface temperatures. Those will change around as soon as those west swells start to come through. But if you've noticed the humidity, I get a lot of questions on the humidity, and I kind of noticed it as well. I mean, it's pretty obvious, and so the humidity, because of the warmer sea surface temperature. You go to San Diego, why does it feel humid? Because the ocean, there's other reasons, because you're close to the subtropics and the subtropical moisture. But the warmer ocean will release more evaporation, which puts more water vapor in the air, which increases dew point temperature. So dew point temperature I wrote at Mount, maybe I'll put these in. I wrote at Mount Diablo yesterday because I wanted to go see the thunderstorms that were developing. I'll include a radar with this. I'll stick it in the post. But I rode at Mount Diablo, and I'm like, God, I am sweating my bottom off. Because I want to get to the top, because there's some cool thunderstorms up around Clear Lake around 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and then the big thunderstorms up around Butte County. So and you can kind of see, I'll show you the pictures there. But I looked at the dew point, and it was 60 degrees. That's not what you expect. 60 degrees, dew point's a temperature. So it just means at 60 degrees, you would have clouds forming and even perhaps rain, but cloud forming, condensation. So that's humid. So typically you would expect much lower, and that has to do with the higher sea surface temperatures. So I know, and I've seen them this warm before, and it's weird because you'll start seeing interesting animal life coming into, is that live? I don't think it is. There it is. Farallon Islands, woo, seals, nice. You start to see sunfish and different kind of animals come up from when you're surfing. You'll see weird stuff when the water gets warm. Just stuff we're not used to seeing, like El Dorado, tuna. I think they're tuna. Wow. We're just doing a little wild ride at the Farallons. Cormorants, a lot of cormorants. But again, one of the largest bird hatcheries, sanctuaries on the West Coast. Puffins are back out at sea, I believe. And wow, a lot of seals. These are all seals. So it's a seal rookery too. And by the way, this is when I was talking about yesterday about the white sharks. This is that's why they're all at the Farallons, because these guys are all having babies. Isn't that awesome? This is at the launch. I've come up. There's a bunch of whites in here. The seals rook in here, but this I think is the boat launch. It's not a launch. You have to be hoisted up and onto the island. Wow, I'm liking that. Okay, and then look at the bears. I went back in time. This is the other day, because look at the freaking bears. Because they're not really moving right now. The salmon or the sockeye are done. The bears are fat. They're still around, but not quite as aggressively. Okay, covered a lot. I think the sea surface temperature thing is interesting. I think the dew point thing, right, is kind of interesting, and the humidity. Because I was sweating a lot, and I was like, why am I? Even yesterday, I was like writing up this saying, it only takes like an hour and 50 minutes to get to the top of Mount Diablo on the north side, which is fine. It's a pretty good ride. But I was just like, blah, blah, blah. And I go, I must be sick. And then I checked out the dew points, and I checked out the sea surface temperatures, and I go, oh, that's what's happening. Okay, listen, I appreciate you guys quite a bit. Little argument here. Appreciate you guys quite a bit. It's fun having a tribe, because my wife and kids I do this to them all day. They got to hear it, and they're cool with it, but they've, their whole lives are like, Dad, seriously, stop. Wow, these two are not getting along. Oh. I guess you won, brother. I guess you won. Look at that, is so spanked. Oh, my God. You're lucky he slipped, man. That's the bet. Boy, I'll tell you, if I ever got in a little fight, that's how I would want it to go. Dude slips, falls, floats away. There's no beef. All right. We'll talk to you. Today's Friday. Probably talk to you. Or no, I'm sorry. Today's Thursday. Probably will talk to you tomorrow. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you back here.